welcome everybody to another edition of KS Gaming 51 Broadcasting, bringing Velocity Motorsports tonight. Playoff race number 2, elimination race style for this playoffs. Shad, we've got some heavy hitters in this top 8 that are left over from last week's elimination race. It's going to get heavy tonight, I think, for these 8 drivers. I really think we're going to see. I mean, we saw a little blocking, a little banging last week. I think it's going to get even worse this week because guys are going to be doing everything they can. It is do or die time to get to that final 4. What do you think is going to be the ultimate decision for drivers to make that decision, to give the bump, to give the door check, to throw the block, those type things?
I think it's going to be the closing laps. If the guy, sitting in front of you is in and you're not riding where your position is, you need to get by that guy. I think, like Tony Stewart said, he wrecked his grandmother for that win or that position. So, um, yeah, I mean, do this whole style of one race per round is really putting a lot of pressure on these guys. First round, the 8 that made it, we figured those were going to be the 8 that made it. I thought maybe there might have been a guy that comes outside of that top 8, but um, yeah, the 8 that carried over are pretty much been the guys that we've seen all season towards the front of the pack. And now we come to a track like Homestead, progressive banking. But I believe everybody's going to be trying to run that bottom line. The top just around here, it's fast. Don't get me wrong, but it's sketchy, loose, and it burns up the tires. So I'm looking forward to it, Kurt. Under the lights here in Miami, should be a good race.
I mean, absolutely. This race, I mean, it used to be the finale of NASCAR every year. Championship was decided here. It's a great track. I mean, it's an equalizer. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There's a lot of things you can't do at this track. There's people that, in real life, they ride the outside right against the wall. On iRacing, they have not figured out how to do that so far. So we've got kind of the opposite, where everybody's going to try to ride that bottom to middle lane. You might see guys float to the third lane, fourth lane type thing later on in the run. But Shad, I mean, I know there was controversy last week. There was a driver that was not happy. There was a driver that said, "Hey, it's for my first win. It's for the it's for the playoff run. I didn't want to give it up. It was on the last lap, last straightaway. I'm for it. I'm okay with it. As a broadcaster up here, if I was in the driver's seat, I probably could be mad. But after a night or two, I would probably understand. Hey, that's just racing. That guy's got to do everything he's got to do to get a win. I've already got 4 wins in this case. If I was Tyler Dohar, speaking of who was the one that was kind of giving the bump to the wall. Luckily, he did not get the meatball, so he was happy about that. He was able to coast it around and finish off the race in second place, or in third place. But Shad, bringing up the standings right now, this is how tight this thing is. Dohar is out by a little bit. He's out by 12. Then you got Jose Ruiz sitting there with 1,015, Chris Murphy at 1,013, Jason Blaney at 1,011. 1,009 for 5th. The top 5, only 4 are going. So all the way down to the 8th spot there, it's only separated by 10 points.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the race where nobody can afford a mistake. Even Tyler Dohar, our regular season champ, the man with the most wins through the season, and has dominated a lot of this season. Besides a couple teammates getting a couple wins from him, he's not safe tonight. He's coming into this race, like you said,
Actually, I just corrected it. He's actually only up by
9 points.
9 points, and then we
Yeah,
have a
so
three-way tie or four-way tie for second place, and a three-way tie for third place. From second all the way to 8th, they're only separated by 3 points. That's crazy.
yeah, so right now, Tyler Dohar's got a 9 point lead on 4 other drivers. If those 4 drivers finish 1 through 4, Dohar cannot finish 14th. If he finishes 14th and those 3 who finish 1 through 4, Dohar's out. So, he's not safe. He can't afford a wreck, especially 2 of them.
We got to remember too. We get points for laps led. We get points for the win. There's all kinds of extra bonus points out there for these
Oh
guys
yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, that's just the starting point. If those 4 behind him finish 1 through 4, he cannot finish 14th. Now, granted, he gets the pole, gets a bonus point for leading the lap, anything like that. Then that kind of narrows that to where he can finish maybe 12th or so. But still, he cannot take it easy tonight. He's got to be on his game. Then you got the four guys that are like a pack of dogs coming behind him. All four of them are tied. We're only taking four into the next round. So probably one, two,
I mean,
maybe all of them are going home
don't count those
because
guys out
because
right behind him either, because they're
yeah
all tied.
yeah because the three guys that are behind that set of four, they're only behind the set of four by 3 points. So it's crazy.
We
We're
could see
going from
eighth to
eight.
first. That's how
Oh
crazy it
yeah,
is.
I mean, yeah, Dohar's only got a 12-point lead over the Tanner White, who's sitting in eighth in points right now. 12 points. Looks like we might have, what do we got? 16, 20 out there right now. It's doable. If he finishes eighth, Dohar finishes 20th, they tie. We'll see where the tiebreaker falls after that. But it, I mean, it's definitely crazy that this is the style that the admins have chosen, and it leads to some chaotic great racing because these guys know there is no tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, we're going to go to the next week's race with four drivers left, and those four are going to earn it. That's my opinion of this playoff style. There is no, like you said, no tomorrow. Every playoff race is an elimination race. If you don't have the points, if you don't have the wins to, sit on like Dohar has or his two teammates, and then Blaney and Bellinger do, you don't have that. Those guys have to go do or die, pull strategies out. It doesn't matter. So I mean, yeah, we could see Tanner White go from eighth to first if Dohar has a bad night. If Dohar gets taken out, Shad, this whole thing opens up completely for all the other drivers left in the playoffs. And that's also like I seen today in the admins. They put it out there multiple times saying don't look or don't count yourself out for the points either because payout is the top 12. So you could have Brian Phillips going from 12th to ninth to get a higher payout, or you could have, say, the next four that are eliminated in this race next week. Those four will battle for those four positions for payouts as well as the four championship drivers. So there's competition up and down the field. I mean, and then you have the guys who aren't even part of the playoffs who are out here saying, you know what, I'm going to come in and ruin somebody's day and steal a win or steal a position and not allow that guy to have the point to go on to the next round. So there is just chaotic. It's everywhere. I don't even know how to explain it. You got to be here to know it. If you're out here watching, it's going to be a crazy night. So definitely get ready for this.
Yeah, speaking on one of those guys that could come here to steal a trophy is not a part of the championship race. Wesley Jeanette is making back-to-back starts for the first time this season. Second fastest in practice. Kurt was fast last week at Pocono. Unfortunately, the strategy call did not work out for him and Blaney. But he's showing speed again this week in that admin box, number 74 Ford. He's a guy that could easily steal this win or help his teammate out in the 22 of Jason Blaney, another guy that was quickest in practice. So the filter time boys, all four of them, they got some work cut out for them. And then you always can't count out Tyler B, another guy that was really fast last week's winner. Uh, you know, so there's a lot of really good drivers, Kurt, that are fighting for these four positions to go to Phoenix next week.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I have a feeling that the four that we're looking at as the top four right now are not going to be the four that move on. As much as I hate to say that, because I like all the drivers that are in the top four, I like all the drivers that are left over to eighth, but I don't think you can have any mistake. And we've seen pit stops come into a problem. We've seen exiting pit road being a problem, speeding penalties, the slightest mistake from a different driver who you're not even expecting to be around, and he's there, and he makes a mistake and takes you out. We've seen team racing. We've seen all different styles, and it is going to get nuts. I don't know. I don't know how these guys are even strapping in with the thought of I'm going to move on. The only one that has that little bit of comfortability maybe is Tyler Dohar because he's got a little extra breathing room with all those wins that he had this season where, he's got what 9, 12, 12 bonus points or whatever it is for wins. So he's got some extra room. I don't know. It'd be crazy to see Tyler Dohar not even make the next round. That's how close these points are. And I don't know. Who out of the group are you looking at tonight as maybe a possibility for tonight's winner besides Wesley Jeanette, Chef?
Um, I mean, I don't want to take Dohar. It's too obvious a pick, so I'm going to go with a guy that I think is really good at saving tires. If he can come up with the right fuel strategy, I look to see that maybe that 22 Blaney moving on to next week.
I mean, this is a difficult track, Chad. You've driven it many times. It gets loose coming out of turn two with a bump that kind of lifts you up a little bit. The tires, the car lifts you up, and it sets back down. And sometimes it can get that car squirrely. Um, Turn four is not any easier, so it's going to be difficult for these guys. And I really think you're right with tire saving. Tire saving is going to be the thing. And who's been the best tire saver of the entire season? Tyler Dohar. So this kind of falls into his style of racing with the track tonight. But I mean, it could come down to fuel, which Tyler has been very, very good at. His teammates, Chris Murphy and Jose Ruiz, have been very good with that as well. John Osborne has been kind of on a tear, being in the top six. I think in the last four races, he's finished in the top six in every single one of them. So could be tonight the night that he goes out and grabs a win from one of his other teammates and possibly knocks one of them out of the top four, as he is currently sitting outside the top four.
Oh yeah, it's very capable. I mean, John's really good here. Um, he's a guy that's coming on strong here, especially towards this later end of the season. Has been stringing together great finishes, and John I thought was going to be really strong last week. At Pocono was fastest in practice, started on the pole, I think, and unfortunately just couldn't find the race pace. So far sitting in qualifying, he's sitting fifth, so he's right there in the hunt. Um, can this be the night where John Osborne breaks through and finishes out that completion of all the filter time guys, getting a win this season? And it could be the biggest win of the season in the fact that it moves you on to the next race. Um, I don't know, Kurt. It's gonna be a lot of laps and a lot of fun, and these cars are gonna get sideways.
I mean, if you really think about it, Shab, we had 8 races prior to the playoffs, or 7 races. The Filter Time boys won every single one of those besides the road course. Or
Well,
the last race of the regular season, Jason Blaney won. So the last 2 races have not been won by a Filter Time esports driver. They've been won by the other guys that we were saying had to step it up, had to come up with complete races to really put it to the Filter Time guys to take wins away. I mean, Dohar had 4, Murphy had 1 or 2, Jose had 1. Those are the big wins throughout the season. Jeanette had 1 at the road course that was not obviously a race that the Filter Time guys expected to be at the front, but 2 races in a row we have not seen a Filter Time guy at the top of the podium. Is tonight the night they jump back in here, or have the other drivers, the rest of the field? You know how they say betting: do you take the field or do you take the Filter Time guys in this group? I don't know. It's kind of a toss up right now.
yeah, I mean, I know Dohar's going to be good here. He told us last week and any other time I've talked to him that, Homestead is a track that he looks forward to. He loves this place. It fits his style, one, with saving tires, and two, it may come down to a fuel strategy. And we all know how he's been all season long when it comes to that strategy. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Another, teammate of Dohar, Jose Ruiz. Jose Ruiz was really good on old Atlanta, and everyone that had ran old Atlanta knows how badly that place chews up your tires. Homestead's almost as bad as Atlanta is as for old Atlanta is chewing up your tires. So to me, a track like this fits right into Jose's playbook too. And then Chris Murphy, another guy of the filter time. He's been really doing good at saving tires, has gotten a win at a track where you needed to save tires.
He's
So
got the most top threes besides Tyler Dohar.
yeah, so I mean, he could get that win too. So I don't know if my choice is take filter time or take the field. I'm kind of leaning towards filter time, but I want some drama for this championship. So I'm gonna have my pick be Jason Blaney for tonight's win. We're gonna be the first car moving on to Phoenix.
We also have an outside shot, Chad, of having all 4 Filter Time esports drivers make it to the final 4. How nuts would that be? I don't think the other drivers would be too happy, but it is a possibility. So I don't know if you want to grab Tyler Dohar real quick. We'll talk to him. We got about a minute left in qualifying. I see he's done with qualifying. I see Jose's out there right now running his second lap. But if you want to grab Tyler real quick, we'll talk to him and see what his expectations are for that group that has been so strong all season. And they've got their work cut out for them tonight if they're going to do it again and maybe have another 1, 2, 3, 4 like they've done twice now.
All right, he's up in here.
What's going on, Tyler?
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going. We're trying to, I don't know, trying to lay down bets, I guess, on what's going to happen. We were talking about should we take the filter time guys or should we take the field? You know, there's chances, an outside shot with the four of you possibly moving on to the next round if you could all four make it. John's, sitting just outside the top four. It's going to be a crazy night. You've got a little bit of a buffer with 9 points. The rest of the guys are all tied up and close within a few points or not. So what's your expectations for tonight?
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. We're just gonna try to control what I can control for myself. I mean, we've spent all season trying to be a team, but I think in this one we got to look out, for ourselves and not try to bank on trying to do anything cute and trying to help each other or anything like that. We just got to go out there and just execute. I mean, the whole team knows what they got to do. I'll remind, of course, our lovely driver of the 7 car not to speed down pit road if we get a green flag stop, but we all just need to remember to keep our heads level and execute here. I'm going to try to lead a lap early, but it really just depends on how Mr. Jeanette wants to race us. We've only raced with him on one oval before, so he's making a career high 2 starts in a row. So we're going to see how he races us, try to lead a lap, get that point, give us an extra buffer, and then just see how the race plays out from there.
Well, my question for you is trying to get some info. What's the fuel mileage looking like? And then also, how long is it taking before those tires are like on ice?
He ain't going to give us that fuel mileage. Come on.
Usually, for the tires, it really depends on how you're driving it because I'm feeling loose off the rip where I think Jose isn't, but Murphy is, and John is kind of feeling neutral and then loosens up. I generally tighten up because I drive off the right front more than a lot of other guys here do. So I think really you're going to see the tire wear take place in a big effect after about 10 to 15 laps. Just kind of is going to depend on how these guys take care of the tires early on the run. As far as fuel goes, just in the brief couple laps I ran in practice, it said 37. So I'm expecting, because of how the pace organically falls off here, probably see 38, 39. I wouldn't expect 40 to be out of the box for even just normal running. I bet if we had a hardcore save, probably 42 to 43, if I had to say.
So basically, if you're pulling a Dohar, 43.
Well, I mean, we'll see. There's not really much to save fuel for right now. If we can all go 37, that should be 2 stops for everybody. Just split it into thirds. So, see what happens. But, we'll find out once the green flag flies. We usually get a quickie yellow. So, maybe if there's a yellow quick enough, maybe I'll come in, try to make it on 1 stop. Who knows?
All right, well, Dohar, we'll get you sent back down to your team. I see you guys rolling out. Good job on the second start, or the starting from the second position, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of the night.
All right, take care, guys. See ya.
All right, Chad, our gridding is placed, and we've got Wesley Jeanette on the pole tonight. Tyler Dohar going to be starting the outside. That is your points leader currently. Jose Ruiz, his teammate, going to be starting third. Jason Blaney, the teammate of Wesley Jeanette, going to be rolling off fourth. Chris Murphy, fifth. John Osborne going to be taking sixth place. Hunter Bailey, seventh. Tyler Bellinger is going to be eighth. Michael Carter, ninth. Michael Perdusky is going to be the top 10, Chad.
Yeah, then you got 11, John Pascal, Brandon Watkins, 12, Tanner White, 8th place in points, starting 13th. Going to have to make up some moves there. Brandon Perry, 14th. Then you got John Tiller, 15th. Starting 16th, you got David Mayo, 17th, Nathan Line, 18th, Ivan Deschamps, 19th, Austin Walton, and then 20th, you got Sean Walton.
All right, well, the pace car's off and the loud pedal's being pushed. We've got cars screaming down the front stretch at Homestead, Chad, for this playoff race number 2. 110 laps tonight. Wesley Jeanette's going to lead him to that green flag and get going into turn 1 and 2. Tyler Dohar going to be looking on the inside. Jason Blaney on the outside of Jose Ruiz as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, Wesley Jeanette choosing to go to the high side through turns 1 and 2. It did not work out. It allowed Dohar fresh, clean air on the bottom. He's going to make the pass and complete the pass as they go through turns 3 and 4. Then you got the 22 of Jason Blaney looking to the outside of Jose Ruiz as Jeanette now crosses over Dohar, looking on the inside going into turn 1 and makes that pass.
Yeah, it's getting heated already, Shad. You heard Dohar say it depends on how Wesley Jeanette's going to run them tonight. He is a driver that's only been part-time this season. He won the road course.
Car loose coming off of 2. Like he saved it, though. All cars look to be pointed, but a big moment for... I didn't catch which number that was, but almost hit that inside wall.
Oh. Like I was saying, Wesley Jeanette is a part-time driver this season. He did win the Charlotte Roval road course, but only has been here for one of the race, and that was last week's race, playoff race number 1 at Pocono. And he helped his teammate out a lot, but Shad, you and I were back and forth on why Jason Blaney was not allowing his teammate to get in front of him to conserve that fuel that was needed to get to the finish line, and both of them wound up having to come down pit road with only a handful of laps left, and it cost Jason Blaney the win, and it handed it over to Tyler B to defend against Tyler Dohar for that win that he got. So it's been close. We'll see if the teams are able to work together. We see Wesley Jeanette kind of working with his teammate. Are the Filter Time guys going to do that? We heard Dohar say it. This race is kind of, every man for himself almost. I don't know if that's a good theory or a good thought or a strategy, because they've worked so well together all season, and they all 3 have wins. 3 of the 4 have wins. So I would think that you just stick to the same strategy.
Yeah, and as you're talking there, Kurt, Dohar and the 22 of Blaney both able to get by Wesley Jeanette. So now Dohar's leading this field around, but Blaney is right there within a car length of Dohar. But yeah, to your point about the teamwork, I get what Dohar's saying about how, it's coming down to the championship race. You kind of got to do your own thing. But I think if you're able to get lined up, then you definitely work together. But I mean, obviously, like he said, you can't really go out of your way and try to help a teammate. If you've got a teammate falling back, you can't fall back with them to help them. You got to run your race pretty much. And Dohar right now is running what he wants to run, but he is getting pressured, Kurt, by that deuce of Blaney looking to the outside of him as they go off into turn 3.
Yeah, Shad. I mean, that's the difference. Is Dohar has 4 teammates, or the 4 teammates of his that are in the playoff heat or playoff run. Blaney has a teammate of Wesley Jeanette who is not part of the playoffs, so he can literally do anything he wants to help his teammate. He doesn't have to, try to get the win himself. He doesn't have to try to move on to the next round. He literally is just a racer tonight to either be here to help his team or just to get a win or take a position away from somebody else. That's a dangerous kind of guy that doesn't have anything to lose because he's not part of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that could fight you, tooth and nail for a position and to help out a teammate, slow you down if Blaney needs to catch you and allow him to, get by you possibly, or, steal a win to make it to where, it's 2nd through 5th that are going to make it in instead of 1st through 4th. But yeah, I mean, but I don't think Jeanette's out here just looking to help his teammate. I think he will if he needs to, but I think he's out here to try to get a trophy right now. And but Kurt, as we're looking, the front 4 have pretty much separated themselves right now between 5th and 6th of Ruiz and Murphy. And then you go back about another second and a quarter to another twosome of John Osborne and Michael Carter. So guys already starting to get separated pretty quickly here as we're only 9 laps in. And as Dohar said, those tires, you'd be feeling them about 10 to 15 in. So we're going to find out quickly, Kurt, of who's the cars that have been kind of just riding, waiting, and who are the guys out there pushing it too hard.
Well, I got to give a huge shout out to Miss Frozen Toes, who's out there, who just rated us with 17 viewers from her own race channel. So definitely appreciate you bringing those people in, Frozen. I can't thank you enough for that. Hope they want to stay and see an awesome race. It's playoff race number 2 for Velocity Motorsports tonight in the Next Gen Series. These guys are not separated by very many points at all. Like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, Tyler Tohar has a 9-point lead over second, and then we have a 4-way tie for second place in the playoffs and a 3-way tie for third place out of the 8 drivers that are competing tonight to move on to the next round of top 4 that will move on for that championship race. This style of playoff racing is something I've never seen, an elimination race each week. It's crazy, the amount of adrenaline, the amount of nerves, the amount of stress it's putting on the drivers to be those drivers that move on to the next round. Last week was heavy with guys, throwing door checking each other. Dohar got put into the wall the last lap. There's a lot of stuff at stake right now, and the top 12 are also fighting for payouts. So those guys are all competing for different positions and points, because the points are rolling all the way to the end of the season, and whatever position you finish in, that's your payout spot. So you also have the other 15 drivers on track who want to steal a win from these guys. They're still positioned for a guy or help their teammate. It's hectic all over the place. It's calamity everywhere, and I don't know if we'll make it to the end, Chad, without a big one here at Homestead. And we've got another great race next week at Phoenix for that championship race.
Yeah, thank you, Frozen, for raiding us. Appreciate that a lot. But yeah, like you were saying, a crazy playoff format that, one, I've never raced in any league that I've been a part of, and I don't know if I've even ever heard of it, to where there's 3 rounds and each race is a round and you get eliminated. Yeah, it's putting a lot of pressure on these guys. Dohar, like we mentioned, only has 9-point gap back to the 4 cars that are chasing him that are all tied. So Dohar cannot afford to get wrecked twice in this race. He gets wrecked twice in this race, he probably is not moving on. That's how close these points are. And then you got 4 guys that are all tied. How many of them are going to make it to the next round? Then you got, guys behind them that are only 3 points back of those 4. Any one of them can make it in. So it's crazy. We come to a track like Homestead where it's a driver's track. You got to be smart with the tires, the throttle, and pit road is not something to be taken lightly. It's pretty tricky getting down on that access road and not making sure you're ending up in the grass. If that's what they're chose to do, I'm not sure. We'll have to talk to Tyler T when we finally bring him up here, if that is the case. But so far, clean and green through the first 15 laps, and still got a little bit of separation through the top 10, especially when you get back to the farther part of the top 10. But here, I am looking at that top 10 right now. Tanner White has been able to move himself up to 9th, so he's making up some ground to try to get into that top 4, but currently still sitting about 4 seconds back of Tyler B., who's holding that 4th position.
Yeah, and if you haven't looked at that top 10 even further, Shad, look at the playoff drivers that are riddled through that top 10. Almost every driver in the top 10 right now is a playoff driver besides Wesley Jeanette, and I believe Michael Carter is the only other person in the top 10 who is not part of the playoffs right now. So it is very, very stacked up here. Everybody is trying to get every point they can get. What's funny, too, is Dohar told us before the race that he wasn't planning on being a leader. He planned on going up there, maybe leading a lap, falling back. He's led every lap for the last 15 laps, Shad. He took the lead.
Oh, caution out. Heard somebody come across the radio about something in the grass or something. Looks like the 35 and the 42 Kurt both involved that they're came to a stop on the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here as it looks like Johnny Disquali and David Mayo and Sean Walton may be involved in this one. So we'll take a quick look back and see what happened here with these drivers. So going back to Johnny Disquali, I'll back it up here because he's already in the grass in that 42 paint scheme right there. So we'll back it up just a little further and see if it was him or if it was somebody out in front of him. I think it might have been Hunter Bailey that might have been involved in this one. You see those guys swinging back and forth? Oh, no, it's not. It is Michael Produski that turns Johnny Pasquale, and he comes back up the track and goes right into the 12 and actually gets contact from the 9. The 35, wow. A lot of drivers going to be involved in this one, Shad, where it did not need to happen. It looks like maybe one of the drivers there, the 36 of Michael Brodusky, looked low on that 42. The 42 kind of maybe showed him a little bit like, hey, you can't go that low. We're going to be 3 wide going into this turn, and it's not going to work. And it didn't work.
Yeah, Brodusky had a great run on that high side behind the 21, and then he shoots to the inside, making it 3 wide, and it kind of looks like the 42 comes down, actually, Kurt. Go to the far chase. There it is. So, yeah, he goes 3 wide. I guess no. 36 does kind of come up as the track kind of narrows as I go into the turn.
Yeah, he ran out of room is what I think happened. I think he realized he was not going to make that turn and thought, I have to get up, and maybe I'm clear, maybe I'm not, but I'm going up. And unfortunately for the 42, he went through the grass, came back up onto the track, and found about 5 or 6 other drivers there that are going to be affected by this. None of those drivers, though, are playoff drivers, so nothing to worry about for a playoff driver, but this could get out of hand if guys who are not part of the playoffs start wrecking each other because they're getting upset about being turned. We've seen that happen before in other leagues where guys just take it into their own hands. It's getting late in the season. Maybe you've been turned by that guy multiple times, Shad, and you just had enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really close, actually, looking at it. It looks like the 42 comes down just slightly as the 36 is kind of coming up, and that's when the contact's made. But
I don't think the 36 would have made that turn. It would have been really, really close. He'd have had to back out of it.
Yeah, he'd have been getting out of the gas pretty soon from when the contact happened just to be able to hold that bottom line. I can't say I really agree with the move this early into the race, causing a wreck and burning up fast repairs with a lot of this race still to go. But to each his own. Everyone's trying to do what they can and make up some spots, but unfortunately it's going to cost quite a few drivers their fast repair.
Well, Shad, why don't you go find your good buddy Chris Murphy in that 7, and we'll try to bring him up as they're getting ready to go to 1 to green, I believe, as they're going to cross the line here. Some guys did come down pit road right here, but I don't think a lot of the guys in the front are going to go. So if you can grab Chris, we'll talk to him real quick and see what his view was from up here with the battling going on with Tyler Dohar and Wesley Jeanette.
He's in here.
All right, Chris, we got you up here in the booth. We're just trying to see what you're seeing out that windshield and how rough this track is as a driver.
I'm seeing a lot of sideways cars. It's really hard to exit the corners here. You really have to let off the throttle, wait, and be very patient and getting back into it. I'm running like maybe half throttle all the way to almost where I'm perfectly straight before I can even get into it. And it's going to be who can keep the car straight and not spin the rear end out, saving tires here. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes.
All right, Chris, my question real quick. I know you're pretty good at these tracks. We've ran them a lot together. How confident are you about making it into that Final Four?
Be a lot more confident if I wasn't so loose. But nah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I like where I'm sitting right now. I saved a set of tires there, so it's just hopefully I don't have to use them at the end.
All right, Chad, send him back to his filter time, guys. So
All right,
they're
good
coming
luck,
off
Chris.
turn 4. All right, pace car's down pit road, and the green flag is waving again for the restart. Shad, make sure we bring up Tyler Talon to get us a little bit of a heads up on what was going on there with that caution and what he saw as the race official. As they go through turns 1 and 2, the guys are trying to get into position, try to either clear themselves high or clear themselves low. We see a lot of 2x2 racing, 3 wide back there in the middle of the pack with the 24 of Hunter Bailey and Jason Blaney, the 22.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Tyler T a minute, Kurt. They're checking the start as Dohar was given a black flag. So Tyler T right now is currently looking at that.
Well, we've seen that happen multiple times with iRacing.
So Tyler T just come across the comm saying that he's good to go, so he did not jump it and did not gain the position, gave it back. So Tyler Dohar catching a good break there, as a black flag would have cost him at least 1 lap. this early in the going. So I guess now we can get Tyler T up here and he can explain the caution.
Yeah, we have seen that happen with iRacing where guys stutter on the gas pedal and it makes iRacing think that you're touching it before you get to the restart zone and they think you jumped and it throws a black flag. So we've seen that an awful lot with iRacing lately since they added that rule in with the restart zone. So guys are not able to stutter on the gas pedal at all. They're not able to let off and try to roll into the restart zone and try to get the jump. It throws a black flag every time for some reason. iRacing's been hearing about it, I think, from a lot of drivers lately.
All right, Kurt, we got Tyler T up in the booth now. Tyler T, we're just looking for your explanation on what you've seen and what penalty was given out for that first caution.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, upon review on that, the 32 was looking to pass the 42 on that run, and as he was doing so, the 32 Michael Pardewski came up a little too quick on the right side, which took out the 42. So Michael Pardewski right now had EOL for that one.
Yeah, we were looking at that closely, and I think Shad was going kind of back and forth on both drivers. One might have came down a little bit. One might have gone up. What I was looking at was, as a driver going into that corner, you know you can't make that corner from that position at that angle. It's just not going to happen. You'd have to let out, and it just didn't look like he was going to let out, and he tried to get up instead of letting off and hooked him. Oh, we got another caution out there.
I'm gonna send Tyler T back down. Some guys are trying to ask questions for race control.
All right. Well, we've got another caution out on track here. I don't know what this one's about. Not seeing anything really. I see Sean Walton enter pit lane, so let's see if... Oh, okay, there it is. Jason Blaney shat in the 22. That's a playoff driver. We'll go back and take a look to see what happened to Jason and what kind of damage he's gotten from this incident here. So backing it up, as it looks like Jason's already had the incident there. We'll go back through. As they come off of turn 4, it looks like him and the Nickelodeon car in the 32 is going to be the one that's going to get it. Tyler said the 32, but I think he meant the 36. Oh, and that one's on Jason. Jason got loose, came down the track and hooked the 32 right into the wall. 32 is going to be probably hit with the penalty, I would assume, Shad, because he was definitely loose coming off of turn 4. And that's part of that fresh tire problem. These guys got to get those tires warmed up. They got to wait a couple laps before they really start getting back into the gas. Once you run a good amount of laps on a green flag run and you throw new tires on it, you can't just go the next round. You've got to get a couple of laps into those tires before you start going again.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. 'Cause I see 2 number 22s out there.
See 2 number 22s.
Yeah, there's a 22 of Blaney in that black and gold, but then it looked like he got hit by a 22 from behind. Yeah, so the 34 Kurt of who is that? Brandon Watkins, to me, is in a 22 paint scheme, but white and blue car. Is that what you're seeing, Kurt?
No, it's a AAA insurance paint scheme. It's got the 34 on the side of it. You might have to refresh your trading paints. It does have a 34 on the side. So, but yeah, he definitely got loose coming off of 4, so I have a feeling that's going to be where the penalty goes on this one. I wouldn't think it would be going to anybody else because the 22 got loose and came down and hooked the 32 into the wall. So that is our playoff driver, Shad, part of that group that is trying to get into the playoffs. He is currently sitting in 4th place, I believe, in the points. So this is going to be a pretty big hit to him as he's got to go to the tail end of the line. He's gone 1 lap down already. It's going to be a rough night trying to come back, but we've seen caution. So if you are the first car 1 lap down, which he is going to wind up being if another caution comes out quickly, He could be right back on the lead lap.
I think the 32 as well is a lap down. Okay, Kurt. So they are giving wave rounds to the 32 and the 22. So everybody will be on the lead lap.
Why are they giving wave rounds? We'll have to talk to Tyler about that one.
Yeah, and then I was going to say there were some guys trying to get some stuff cleared, Kurt, there after that first caution once I got restarted. And it didn't sound like Tyler B was too happy that we pulled his race control up into the booth.
Well, they told me it was okay to do, so.
I'll go down there and get confirmation.
All right. Well, while Shad's running down to talk to the admins real quick to make sure it's okay that we pull the race control up, I'm not sure why Shad's seeing different paint schemes. He's going to have to refresh his trading paints. But right now, out front is going to be Michael Carter in Hunter Bailey is going to be the leader currently in the 24. That is our last playoff driver, so he is trying to get himself up towards the front. Looks like he pit 12 laps ago, so he's still got semi-fresh tires, but about 9 lap older tires than the rest of the field who just now pitted. So Michael Carter is going to be second, Jose Ruiz third, Tyler B is going to be sitting fourth, Wesley Jeanette fifth, Tyler Johar is going to wind up sixth, Austin Walton seventh, Christopher Murphy eighth, John Osborne ninth, and Tanner White will round out our top 10 as the pace car is going to be ducking down pit road as they come off of turn 4 here. And that 3 car, what I'm seeing as a 3 paint scheme, is going to be on the inside of the 24, who's going to have the jump in the restart zone. And there goes that U.S. Air Force 24 car screaming down the front stretch as Tyler B in the 88 is on the outside of the 3 already. Jose Ruiz on the bottom line trying to carry speed through the corner, but Tyler B is going to have the momentum on the outside. Can he clear it? He gets a little loose, almost hooks the 23, barely misses the back bumper of the 23. 23 is going to now dive underneath the 3 car as they go through turns 3 and 4. There was another couple cars looking back through the field that got loose as well. One of them being that white AAA car that we just were looking at the 34. Tyler Johar making his way through the field quickly up to 6th right now, coming around on the outside. Coming around on the inside of the 3 car. Michael Carter, who is on older tires, does not seem to be able to stick with these guys on fresher tires. Chris Murphy right behind this group as well, trying to catch back up to the front. Hunter Bailey, your current leader, with Jose Ruiz coming around to try to make that move on Hunter Bailey.
Hey, Kurt, so I talked to him, so I think we just have to wait a few laps after they get back going. That way, in case anything needs cleared. But, yeah, they're fine with it. And, yeah, back to the racing.
Wow.
Some crazy pitch strategies, jumbling up the field, of course, as 24 Hunter Bailey staying out, going to take over that lead. But look at in second place, Kurt, in that gold UPS car, Tyler B. Guy that's been fast all season long, but he's been real fast on the short runs. Kind of not the quickest car on those long runs. Going to have to figure that out for tonight, as this track, if we go long runs, is going to get extremely hard to drive. So Tyler B, hopefully he got the practice in of that and was able to figure out how to do it. But right now, currently sitting second, probably going to make a move on that 24 here eventually, I would think, as he's got fresher tires.
Yeah, and Tyler B, he did figure it out last week with Pocono. He said he had a fast car on the long run for a little while. So it's not the same, but hopefully he's figured out. He wobbles right there coming off of turn 4, and actually it looked like a couple other cars behind him did the same thing. This track, to me, it almost feels sometimes like there's oil on the track. It's just the way the track is designed. You got to get in the gas at a specific moment when you're going through these corners. If you do it a little early, the car starts to go around on you. If you do it late, the car wants to push towards the wall. So you got to find that perfect spot to get into the gas, and a lot of guys can't find it. So we'll definitely see who can figure it out here tonight. Looking back through the field again, Hunter Bailey still up at the front. Tyler B trying to run him down. Jose Ruiz trying to run down that gold UPS 88 as well. Wesley Jeanette mixed in here with the 77 between two teammates. Can Tyler Johar make it around on the outside of the 74 of Wesley Jeanette now? Oh, Wesley Jeanette comes right up in front of him, almost takes the nose off of the 77.
And that's something I'm sure Dohar.
Oh, and Dohar just takes it in his own
gives him
hands.
a bump. Not happy with that 74. Comes across race Croms and is just not happy with him at all. Put the bumper to him.
Didn't cause a caution, though.
Wesley Jeanette made a hell of a save. And as they're still going it over race comms, it is not good. Oh, as the 74 gets loose now, coming off of turn 2 and puts it in the wall.
No
And
caution
that
still.
74 now is
Now a
and
caution's
there is
out.
the caution. Dohar does not want to make enemies, especially with a guy where this means absolutely nothing to.
And I mean, I get why Dohar's upset. Like, I mean, we called it live right there. I seen it. The 74, I mean, if he didn't touch him, it was close to taking his nose off. And it didn't look like, I mean, I don't know if it was on purpose. He had the bottom, and all of a sudden he just dove it up to the top right in front of Dohar, almost took the front bumper off. I don't know if that was on purpose. He might have just lost the car a little bit there. It's early in the run. They do have fresher tires on. It's been a few laps, though, but it was a quick caution there that maybe didn't get enough heat in the tires. But Dohar not happy about that and definitely gives him the boot as they go through the corner. Does it perfectly, though, Shad. Doesn't bring out a caution, just hits him just enough to where he slides right up the track into the wall. Big save by Jeanette and then getting loose coming off the next corner. I'm with you, though, Shad. I don't think Dohar wants an enemy of somebody that has nothing to lose right now, and his teammate has everything to gain. I don't know. Would you do it?
No, like, if I'm Dohar, it's still early in the race. If he's really that much better than the 74, I get he's not happy with him cutting him off. But at another point, he was sitting, third or fourth. If he runs right there, he's in. So why risk, getting involved in something and, maybe using your fast repair up? Or why create an enemy? Like, it sounds like, according to race comms, that 74 is not happy at all with Dohar. So
I think this carried over from last week, Shad, because Dohar was not happy with how Jeanette drove those top 5, being that it was his first race since like the 4th race of the season, and it's playoff times. I get it's playoff time, so energy's way higher, stress levels higher. You don't want to mess up with the playoff drivers, but at the same time, Wesley Jeanette's coming in here trophy hunting. And we've seen, that type of attitude come through, and guys go for wins, and sometimes you maybe drive a driver a little too hard that's running a playoff chance for a win or for a championship, and those drivers don't take too kindly to it, and one of them shows it tonight.
Yeah, just, I don't know. To me, if you're Dohar, you got to just show patience, even though you might not be happy. Just kind of let him go. You're sitting in a good position to move on to the next round. You don't have to win this race to do it. So he's already been out front, led his lap, so he got a point there. Why fight, and do that to a guy that this means absolutely nothing to, that could really make your night hell. So.
And who's been really fast. So you expect Wesley to be right back up here at some point. He's got a fast repair that he possibly just used.
Oh, I'm sure he had to use it, because the second time getting loose off of 4, he really slammed the wall. So I'm sure his fast repair has been used. And if Dohar ain't careful, his could be getting used here pretty soon as well, if those two get together again.
I mean, yeah, luckily Dohar does have that fast repair, so even if Wesley Jeanette decides to retaliate early, he does have that fast repair. But if it comes down to the last 5 laps and Jeanette's behind Dohar, I don't know if I'm comfortable being Dohar with Jeanette behind me that late in the run. But, Chad, why don't you go try to find Brandon Watkins real quick, and we'll have a first time of him being up here in the booth if he's in the Discord.
Look, I think they're coming to 1 to go now.
Yeah. Brandon Watkins staying out on the track on 14-lap old tires with David Mayo, Sean Walton also, and...
Yep, there he comes.
All right, we'll get Brandon up here in this AAA Insurance 34 car. Brandon, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You're out here running first right now, coming through turns 1 and 2, so it won't be a long conversation. But how are you feeling on track? And is it as slippery out there as it looks in the broadcast booth?
Oh, it's slippery, all right. I am just out of tires, man. I've already used a set, and we're only 40 laps in. I just got to save a set, and I'm running up here.
Chad, any questions for Brandon as we have him going into turn 3 right now?
Yeah, we're running out of time. I'm just gonna say, hey, Brandon, good luck. Try to stay up front as long as you can on those older tires, man, and never know what might happen behind you. Sounds like some guys aren't too happy, so good luck, and hopefully you can hang on to the lead.
Thank you, gentlemen. Hope it's a good race for you.
Yep. Shad, go ahead and send him back down to his team as they're coming through turns 4. Pace car is going to duck on down pit road, and we are going to get fired off again for green flag. We'll see how long we stay green flag with the tempers flying here. This is what we were talking about, Shad. It's playoff time. Tempers do fly. Energy is definitely at 10 right now for the drivers trying to make it to the playoffs. And then even the drivers that are not part of the playoffs are getting involved in some of the arguments and incidents on track to where I don't know if I want to be on track right now. I'm kind of glad I'm in the booth right now and don't have to deal with this, because if I'm betting on 1 or 2 points to get me to the next round, I don't want an enemy on track right now.
Well, I know right now that 74, he can see that 77 through his mirror, and I guarantee you that mirror or window
coming.
that he's seeing him through is bright red.
Just bounced off the 35.
Yeah, I think he gets loose.
22 touches him.
Blaney. Hey, he's
7
still
trying to
save
save
it, but it ain't looking good.
He's still saving it. He straightens back out, but the rest of the field getting bundled up back here and getting some damage. 32 going to be the worst one out of there, Shad, as he's going to bounce it off the wall several times. Big save by the 7 right there. He had a little help, though, but he got loose, and I'm not going to blame the 22 because the 7 got loose. The 22 can't know that the 7's getting loose when he's that close to him, and he doesn't have time to react. So 7 had to get out of the gas to hold the bottom, and 22 gave him a little tap, and he went sideways just a little bit, bounced it all the way to the wall, had a couple other cars running to the back of him, and he's able to straighten out and keep going. No caution out on track, though. 32 worse for the wear on that one.
Yeah, Chris Murphy got ran into and was fortunate to save it, after some contact with a few other cars. His car doesn't look too bad. I don't think he'll have anything problem to where he needs a fast repair, but definitely obviously not happy with that 22 of Blaney, as he was the culprit there. So right now, Kurt, we got a filter time guy getting into, Blaney's teammate, and now Blaney getting into Dohar's teammate. So
I don't know if I can blame Blaney,
boys are
though,
playing.
Shad. If I'm Murphy, I mean, he got loose, though, in front of him. If he lets off the gas, there's nowhere for Blaney to go.
Blaney got loose, Chris got loose because of Blaney.
Well, when I saw it looked like Murphy got loose, and then Blaney helped him.
From a driver's standpoint,
Ooh,
that's not
getting
loose around here. That's kind of normal around these parts where the back end wants to get a little slippery, but what Blaney did was pretty much give him a shot and tell him to pretty much move out of the way. But Kurt, that 74
is
there's only 2 cars behind that 77 seeing red.
Yeah, I think the 77 is trying to check out right now and get away. He has now passed 2 cars to get to the lead. Takes back over the lead from his teammate in the 23, Jose Ruiz. Jason Blaney trying to run down these 2 Filter Time Esports drivers, as well as the 88 and 74 back there in 4th and 5th. 77, though, Shad, he's going to have to go now to get away from the 74, because he is coming with a big head of steam. And sometimes when you drive angry, you drive faster, but you also hurt your equipment with your tires and everything else. So if Dohar can get out here and get away from him for a little bit before the 74 burns off his tires trying to get to him, he may be able to stay away from him for now. But if he's able to get to the 77, I assume we're going to see fireworks.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised, if Blaney said, hey, if you're going to race my teammate like that and, ran into him like that, then you just opened yourself up for the same thing. Now, Blaney, of course, hit the wrong guy. He needed a car with another 7 on it.
And
So
Blaney doesn't
that's
have a
not
fast
gonna.
repair either anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Blaney's out of repairs, and so is the 74. So those two got to be smart here because the guys that are bumping around still have fast repairs. So
If I was a 22,
uh,
I wouldn't take it into my hands. I'd let my teammate do it.
yeah, you know your teammate obviously he ain't fighting for nothing. Blaney he gets wrecked out here. His season's over basically. He's gonna be fighting for fifth for the payout, and that's it. To where his teammate really isn't fighting for nothing other than a trophy. So we'll have to wait and see if anything more plays on that. Hopefully, the cooler heads prevail, and these guys just go back to racing and say, "I'll just beat you on the pole for the scoreboard."
Oh,
I
and
hear
he
a car
takes out
getting loose.
Ruiz. Blaney. Wow. Caution out on track, and that's going to end the night for Blaney, Shad, I think, because his car was up in the air on that one as he's now being towed. We're going to back it up here. I don't know if he got loose. I heard a screech of a tire, and then I saw the 23 go up into the wall with the 22 flying. So watch the 22 go underneath the 23 here into turn 1. He takes a weird angle and angles it right down to the bottom. Not a whole lot of room down there. Does he get loose? No, 23 kind of comes down and it gets, yeah.
22 comes up. 23 was not giving him any room there. Was pinching him, and Smeeker, the 22 comes up.
We'll take another look from the far chase. As they go into the corner, it looks like the 22 is really low entering that corner. So he's down there by the line, just comes up to the black. Yeah, he does come up into the second lane.
Yeah. That's what happens when you
I think part of
make a
that is
teammate
also
mad.
that iRacing netcode, because you can see the 23, he starts to get turned to the right before the 22 even makes contact. Right there. Yeah, I think that's part of that's netcode, but the 22 was not going to be able to hold the bottom, and I think he slid up the track. And that's very unfortunate for a playoff driver. Yeah. That takes him out of the running, I think.
Yeah, if he had to use a fast repair already, which we both believe he did, yeah, he's pretty much done for the at least having a chance to fight for a championship now. If somehow he was able to repair his car the first time around without using it, then he may just be a lap down or two. But right now, not looking good for my pick tonight, as I think the heated heads have just prevailed right now, and guys just don't realize what they're fighting for, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, but I'm trying to look to see who we should bring up. I know we just talked to Chris before. Dohar's sitting there in second, and I don't know what that interview is going to be like. Wesley Jeanette's in third, right next to Dohar, so this could be a really fireworky restart. Tyler B's right there in fifth, so I don't know if you maybe, well, nope. Now he's Michael Carter's fourth. Tyler B's fifth, so if you want to bring Tyler B or Tanner White up, they're sitting fifth and sixth, both in the playoffs.
Yeah, let's go Tyler B. He might be the guy with the least temper.
I don't know if Tanner White has temper or not, so.
Oh, yeah, Tanner White wouldn't be bad either. Let's bring up Tyler B.
Tyler B, you got a copy. This is Swats and Shadowlike in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, bud, you are currently sitting in the top 5. You are a playoff driver fighting for your life for next week's race. What's it like there out on track, and are the cooler heads going to start calming down here?
I'm doing all right. I'm still. I've only changed one set of tires. That first pit stop I took them, so I'm trying to hold off on changing another set. Yeah, the cooler heads need to really cool off. It was kind of ridiculous to see two of our fastest drivers crapping on each other like that. Dohar went and essentially looked like he tried to dump him. I don't appreciate that at all, especially when you're like the fastest car in the league. So have a better attitude about it is my perspective on that. I don't know why they were beefing at each other the way they were. These cars are super slick and all over the place. If you can't handle people not holding a perfect line, then get over yourself, in my opinion. But other than that,
I mean, I think
everybody's
it's
doing
from
great.
last week too. So I think a little bit of that's a carryover from last week with Jeanette, the way that they were racing, I guess, the top 5. But I mean, we called it here live. He slid right across his nose, and I thought he took his nose off. But
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, he wasn't. Dohar
I
was
just
not
don't
happy
like the
about that part.
bickering. I just don't like the bickering over radio chat in the middle of a league race.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
You know, swallow your anger and deal with it after the race if there's an issue. Don't be retaliating on track. That's all I ask for.
I mean, he did hit him, but he didn't bring out a caution. So I can say that he at least, bumped him out of the way without giving him a caution.
Well,
Well, we'll see how it carries over. I know
Yeah.
they're right in front of me, so hopefully they don't do anything too stupid.
Yeah,
that
I'd be
collects
worried.
me.
Yeah,
And,
that's what I was going to tell you,
see.
Tyler. But you might want to give some extra space because I think you might see fireworks in front of you if they still haven't cooled off. But we'll get you
Alrighty,
back
cool.
down to your teammates, man. Good luck. Try
Thank
to
you,
get
Ben.
that long run, man. All right, Kurt, the restart has happened, and the 7 gets out to a pretty good jump over his teammate Tyler Dohar. Dohar and the 74 both going to clear that 3-car, Kurt, and this is where it's going to happen. If it is going to happen between the 74 and 77, does the 74
Oh, it's going to
pay him
happen. Here
back?
it comes.
Yes, he does. He gives him a bumper right there. Not that bad, though. Not
It
as
runs
bad
him
as
up the
what
track.
he received. So yeah, we'll have to see if maybe he tries it again or not. But I'm sure Dohar right now is looking in that mirror, hoping it doesn't happen. But I know that 74, as he's driving in extremely deep right now, is wanting to get to that 77 car.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was the 88, I would not go on this restart. I would hold off for a second before I'd hit the gas pedal to clear out turn 1 and 2 because I expected to see fireworks. And you can see the 74 went for it a little bit, gave him a shove. I think did a little better job than what Dohar did to him when Dohar was upset. But the 74 definitely rode him into that corner, and you could see it push the 77 up the track with as much speed as he carried in there. But Dohar's starting to get a little separation on him. The 74 has been driving it deep into that corner, Shad, and we've seen to where that can really hurt the tires. 74 has nothing to worry about for the rest of the race. So if his intentions are just to come out and run this thing as hard as possible to make it difficult on Dohar, he's going to do so, if in my opinion. But I don't know if Jeanette will calm down and maybe just go for the win, take that away from Dohar. That's the way you hurt him. And, in football, they always say if you want to hurt somebody, do it on the scoreboard. And, I mean, here we are. Could you take away a win from Dohar? Could you maybe take away a position point? Murphy's out here leading right now. This is the best thing for Murphy to try to stay in front of Dohar. But 74 just brushed the wall trying to get to the 77 again.
Yeah, hopefully, they can cool this off, and this isn't what we're coming into here. His teammates already pretty much out of the race, out of any chance. As Dohar pulls over
Lets him
and
go.
lets him go, doesn't
That's
want any
a
part
smart
of it.
move.
I think Dohar realized, hey man, this guy's driving me extremely deep. It's the only way I can stay away from him. I'm gonna let him go. And yeah, cooler heads prevailed right there as Dohar just said, the heck with it, you go, I'll get behind you. I don't want to get wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, one playoff driver's already gone from the top 4. So
Yeah,
he doesn't have to
and-
worry about that now. Now he's really only fighting against 7 other cars. Or
Yeah,
6 other
speaking
cars.
of playoff drivers, Kurt, who was sitting 8th in the standings? Because now he's sitting
I think
4th right
that's,
now in this race, and that's Tanner White.
Yeah.
Tanner White trying to make a big move and swing himself into that final 4. Right now, he's doing everything he can. Oh, as he just actually lost 4th place to Jose Ruiz. But either way, has made up a ton of ground after not having a very good qualifying. Now sits 5th place with still 52 laps to go. So a ton of time, at least 1 pit stop is what we're going to be facing from here on out. But yeah, Kurt, we got some playoff drivers in the top 10. We got some sitting out of it, and one guy sitting in pit road. His season is likely done besides just getting a better position for payout.
Yeah, and I mean, John Osborne's the only other one that's outside the top 10 that's still fighting for this thing, and he's currently sitting in 13th right now. He needs to pick it up if he's going to get up here, because the top 10 right now is riddled with playoff drivers that are left in the playoff race. Hunter Bailey sitting in 7th in the points right now. He's currently sitting 5th. He would move on. The 8th spot is Tanner White. He's in 6th spot. He would move on over top of John Osborne. Actually, no, sorry. Tanner White would have to pass Hunter Bailey because Hunter Ruiz, Jose Ruiz, Tyler Dohar, and Chris Murphy are in the top 5. So the rest of the drivers would be Jason Blaney, who's out now, Tyler B., who's currently sitting in the top 5. Or no, where is Tyler B? He's sitting 9th. So actually, Tyler B has 2,003 points.
Yeah,
Hunter Bailey would be in, and Tanner White would be in.
Yeah, currently right now it would be Murphy, Ruiz, Dohar, and Bailey would be your top 4 right now as they sit. And then you'd have Tanner White finishing 5th as it stood right now. So Tanner White's got to get to the 24, and Belanger, I know he said something about not taking tires. He might want to start putting some tires on this thing because you can't take them home with you. And right now he's falling outside of the top 10, Kurt, 5 seconds back. So I don't know the strategy he's trying to pull, but it looks like we could possibly have a green flag run right now. I think guys probably are trying to run some green flag laps after all these cautions and the wrecks that have been happening in the hot heads. So.
Hunter Bailey just moved to 74 after Dohar let him go. I don't think Wesley's going to be happy with that one either, but Wesley's going to try to cut down.
Touched.
Oh, it looked like it.
No, I don't believe they actually touched. He just drove it in there deep, and I think Hunter Bailey's got fresh tires is why he's able to run through this field. So Hunter Bailey right now, Kurt, making a heck of a move here towards the end of this race and putting himself into a great. Oh, as the 74 gets loose, Kurt able to save it. Looks like he
gets
stayed
behind
off the
the
wall.
77 though. Yeah, I think, Hunter Bailey's on the same set of tires as everybody else that's up front besides Chris Murphy, who's on 27. Chris Murphy's on the oldest tires in the top 10, besides Michael Carter sitting in 10th right now on the same set. So, I don't know. It looked to me like Hunter Bailey made contact. It looked like he made the same contact that Jeanette made to Dohar, just pushing him in the corner, and it moved Jeanette up the track. And then Jeanette obviously just got loose there and touched the wall. But that's going to move Jeanette back to 7th. That's going to put Hunter Bailey in the top 3, Chad. That's definitely going to move Hunter Bailey in. And I'm looking now. Jose Ruiz has taken the lead from his teammate Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy's tires, I think, are starting to wear down here. But he's going to have an extra set going into the long run here. With, what do we got, 45 laps left. There's going to be at least one more pit stop, and possibly at the end there could be, cautions flying. We got Repeat out there in the chat saying, what's up, fellas? Pete, it's been an eventful night, to say the least. We've had Dohar and Jeanette getting into it. We've had Blaney and Murphy get into it. We've had Blaney and Ruiz get into it. Playoff drivers are going after each other. They are going all out. It's do or die time for one more race after this. Elimination style tonight. 4 drivers moving on to the final race. Out of 8 drivers, 1 driver in the playoffs already on pit road watching the rest of this race. So 7 drivers left in the playoff standings for tomorrow, next week's race of the 4 moving on. And it's getting closer and closer as we had drivers from 2nd to 8th only separated by 5 points. And Hunter Bailey has moved all the way to 2nd, Chad, over the guys that were battling down there at the bottom, which is Tanner White, who slipped back to 11th.
Yeah, right now, Hunter Bailey's making one heck of a drive up through the field as he's looking underneath our leader, Jose Ruiz. Not going to be able to get there this time by, but yeah, has made one heck of a drive up through the field to put himself into the conversation of the final 4. Dohar right now slipping back just a little bit. I think him and the 74 running that hard off the get-go as he was running away from the 74 might have burned off his tires a little bit. Now, granted, they will be able to make a pit stop here in the next probably 5 laps, Kurt, and be good to go to the end if they wanted to. Me, myself, I would wait until probably you have to come with fuel unless you get guys really pitting early You don't want to lose that much time on track. But as it is right now, Hunter Bailey looking to be one of the better cars out there, as he is a little quicker than the 23 of Ruiz right now. Just can he get by him? And he might be able to pull away if he does.
Yeah, I don't know how Hunter Bailey's able to make the moves that he's able to make, because he's on the same set of tires as all of these guys, and he's driven from basically 7th all the way to the front. But he is trying to get past the 23. Shad Jose is one of the drivers that you picked last week as a driver that is very smooth on these style tracks. I watched him in Shake and Bake with Frozen Toes, who dropped us to 17 Raiders earlier. She has an amazing league out there that Pete broadcast, and Jose was a Final Four driver for the finale last season in Shake and Bake. So he has run this track a bunch. He's a driver that I could say for sure has enough skill to be in the Final Four. He's got to win this season. This is a style track that I think Jose could be the driver to go get. And if Tyler is worried about Jeanette on track, it's not going to put Dohar up at the front. So he's pretty much kind of just putting himself in the middle of the field or middle of the top 10 and saying, I can make it to the end or make it to the next race by doing this. I don't have to go up there to the front. I just have to stay away from Jeanette. I just have to stay clean the rest of the way here with 40 laps to go. And Jose is thinking, hey, I'll go out here and clinch my spot by going and getting the win. And Hunter Bailey is saying, hey, I'm going to come up here and try to clinch it myself.
Yeah, watching these front two, I can tell that Hunter Bailey is just driving it in way too deep. His car cannot hold that bottom line because of it. And because he's doing that, it's also burning off that right front, and which is probably also hurting him on exit, as that car's probably getting tight, but then it's also loose on exit as well. So right now, Jose's stretching it back out up to about coming up to a second here. But he's also stretching it out over his teammate of Tyler Dohar. So, Kurt, like I said in the pre-race show, that 23 Jose was amazing at Old Atlanta. Another track just like here at Homestead that chews up the tires. So it's not too much of a surprise to me to see him up front right now and leading this group, and just really pulling away now. And if the guys were to pit right now, Kurt, they could make it on fuel. We'll have to see if anybody decides to come down this early. You'll make up some time on them, but once those guys do decide to pit, you will be a sitting duck. So I think we're going to see a lot of these guys go as far as they can or till we see a massive amount of playoff drivers starting to come down. I think you're on mute, Kurt.
Yeah, I was sitting here, I was trying to think. I mean, there's 37 to go. Dohar said 30, what do you say, 34, 37?
I think he said probably 38 with the pace slowing down with older tires. 42 would be a fuel, stretch.
Okay, so we're within the window.
Right now, I would think right now they're good to go.
I don't know if you come early, though. I mean, I would try to wait. If you're in the front, I would wait. If you're a playoff driver in the top 5, I would wait. Only because I would wait for the leader to go. When the leader goes, I would pit. But I would not pit early because I have a feeling this is going to be a long green flag run. We could have a caution late with guys getting fresher tires at the end here, swapping out.
Chris Murphy is coming this time.
That's a surprise.
Well, he was sitting back. He had old
an
tires from the get-go. He didn't pit like everybody else did, so he was going to have to come. And, he's going to make up some time, but he was sitting pretty far back. But the thing is, he doesn't have to win this race. He doesn't have to finish second or third. All he's got to be is that fourth car to be, in the championship of next week. So he's still sitting pretty good. He did have John Osborne kind of closing in on him. But Tanner White and also Tyler B have fallen way off. I can't remember who else is in there, if Pardusky's in the playoffs or not, too.
No, it's so right now it is currently looking like Dohar, Ruiz, Murphy, Blaney, Tyler B, John Osborne, Hunter Bailey, and Tanner White. So Jason Blaney's out. That moves everybody up 1 from behind him. So Tyler B would move to 5. John Osborne would move to, Tyler B would move to 4. John Osborne would move to 5. Hunter Bailey would move to 6. Tanner White to 7. But Tanner White is currently sitting back in 12th, which means Hunter Bailey, who's currently up front in 3rd, would pass John Osborne because he is tied with John right now, and John is currently sitting back in 8th, hitting pit road. Tyler B is currently sitting 5th. He would pass Jason Blaney, and now he's in front of Chris Murphy because Murphy just pit. So it's so close between 2nd and 8th that we could have had guys swapping all over the place. And I think the only person that's really showed me that he wants it right now is Hunter Bailey. Is sitting in 7th. He's put himself in position. He's currently sitting 3rd. He's on the same set of tires, same set of fuel strategy as everybody else that he's running against in the playoffs, besides Murphy and Osborne, who just now pit. So, like I said, I would not pit until Jose pits if I am Hunter Bailey or Tyler Dohar right now.
Yeah, they had quite a bit of the lead. So yeah, if I'm Hunter Bailey right now, I'm following the 2 guys in front of them. When they come, I'm coming as well. I don't think like Chris Murphy or Tyler B or Osborne, they might make up the time and maybe they pass you, but after you come out of the pit stop, you're going to be so much faster than they are going to be, and you'll pass them with ease. So, and
I mean,
just
let's
now
take a
here,
look at the
77's
timings.
coming this time, Kurt. So Dohar's pulling the trigger. I haven't heard if the 24 is coming.
I haven't heard the 23 either. So, but I mean, let's take a look at the lap times. Lap times right now: Jose Ruiz 34.378. Murphy, who just came down pit road and took fresh tires, just ran a 33.292. So almost a full second faster. And he's been on track for 5 laps. So that's 5 seconds each lap that he could have been making up, that Jose Ruiz is out here on old tires, 31-lap old tires, but he has a big lead. If Murphy continues to grow that or shrink that time down, he's got to unlap himself. So he's got to wait for Jose to pit. Then we'll see where the cycle's out for timing. But, I mean, Murphy could wind up right back in the top 6, which is where he needs to be.
Yeah, I think Murphy, when this cycle's through, he should be probably that 4th car of the championship 8. But the problem is, you know, Osborne came like 2 laps after he did. Osborne wasn't that far off of Chris Murphy, so, you know, Osborne could run him back down. As right here, Kurt, we see the gap. He's already closed in on the 77 of Dohar, so that's how much time Chris was able to make up. Went from like 13th all the way back up to where they're running right now.
He's running
would be
8th,
3rd.
and he'll move up there. I don't know. Like I said, I'm waiting to see Ruiz pit to see what the timing comes out when Murphy passes him to unlap himself to see how far behind he is. He's currently 1 lap down, but I'm looking at the scoring pylon, and Ruiz is going into turn 3 and 4. Murphy is... Where is Murphy? The dots are on top of each other.
Murphy and Dohar are both entering turn 3 right now.
So Ruiz
they're
is
actually
exiting.
fighting for position.
Yeah, so Ruiz just crossed the finish line. Those guys are about to cross the finish line too. So he's only, you know, a quarter of the track behind him right now. So when he goes down pit road, he's going to unlap himself. The pit stops are taking anywhere from 13 to 15 seconds. If he does not get a pit road penalty, I mean, he could come out close. I just don't know who the top 4 is going to wind up being. I mean, Jose Ruiz looks good right now. Hunter Bailey is trailing him. If he pits at the same time as Jose and comes back out on fresh tires behind these guys who pit early, I mean, Hunter could move himself up into the top 4. And then it's Murphy, Tyler B, and Dohar fighting it out, but Ruiz fighting it out, but Ruiz is winning the race right now. So I think 4th place is going to be a hard one to decide. It's going to come down to, in my opinion right now, it's going to come down, as we're going right now, it's going to come down to Tyler B, Murphy, and Bailey. And Osborne.
Well,
Osborne's in there too.
To me,
Ruiz is
Tyler
coming down
B,
pit road now.
He's already made a pit stop as well. He's half a track behind Chris Murphy. So to me, he's kind of out of it. I don't see him running that, you know, down. So to me, it's going to be between Murphy and Osborne for that 4th and final spot. as they run. I think Ruiz,
Don't forget
Dohar,
about the lead lap point too. Murphy does have that, and so does Tyler B, and so does Hunter Bailey now.
as 24 just announced he's coming this time, so we'll see where that shakes up. And also 23 of Jose Ruiz is also on pit road, Kurt. So now we're going to get to see where the 77 and the 70, as they're both going to get by him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to put Dohar take over the lead once this cycles through. But obviously Jose is going to have way fresher tires than these two in front of him, and he'll run them down, I would think, here in the next 10 to 12 laps. So we'll have to see where that shakes up. As Hunter Bailey, though, still on pit road. He's going to be a little bit farther behind these guys, but he will have fresher tires too. He may be able to work himself back up into a top 2 position.
Yeah, if I'm John Osborne, I would go. There is no holding back now. You need to go for every inch you can get. You're on fresher tires. He's running 33.6s. The leader just ran a 35.4, and that's Brandon Perry. Bailey just is down pit road. Dohar. Ooh, guys are swerving all over the place back here with this group. Osborne's currently sitting 10th. But he does have Bailey in front of him by several positions. He's got Ruiz by several positions, Murphy by several positions, and Tyler B is going to be sitting behind him. That's where it's going to be, Shad. It's going to be between those three that I was talking about. It's going to be between Ruiz. If he can get back around, it'll then cycle out to where it is only a battle between Osborne, Tyler B, and Hunter Bailey for that 4th spot. Murphy has to hold on to it, though.
I mean, Tyler B is pretty much half a track Kurt behind.
He had
Murphy,
something go wrong with the pit
and
stop, too. He had an 18.7.
Yeah, he's half a track behind Murphy and pretty much a full straightaway behind Osborne. And Kurt, big news, 24 going to have to come down pit road one more time.
Ooh.
Something wrong with either iRacing didn't give him fuel or something, but he is going to be coming again, Kurt. That shakes up everything. That may make it to where
Whoa, we could have the
both
1, 2,
Murphy-
3, 4 for esports.
yeah, we could have Dohar, Murphy, Ruiz, and Osborne all making it in.
If I'm Osborne, I am going for every position I can get and stay in front of Tanner White, Hunter Bailey, and Tyler B right now, and don't make a mistake.
I think he'll be good with Hunter Bailey, as obviously Hunter Bailey's going to go a lap down. Not sure what happened there. That's really unfortunate for him. So John Osborne right now, he's sitting about 10 seconds in front of Tanner White, and then you got Tyler B even farther back. So right now, Kurt, it's sitting like a filter time sweep of the final 4.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember mentioning that before the race yet. That was a possibility, but
I do believe you said it was a slim chance, but right now with 20 to go,
I didn't see
Kurt,
it coming. I didn't think we would have the drama that we've had tonight with Blaney and Jeanette, but they've had it with these esport guys. They've put it to them, and unfortunately, Blaney got the worst of it because he'd already used his fast repair from making a mistake at a turn 4 early in the race and having to use his fast repair, and Jeanette has kind of fallen off. I don't even see Jeanette. Where is he? I don't even see Wesley Jeanette. Where? I don't know. Oh, he's sitting third.
He's entering turn 3.
So he is 6-7 seconds back from Dohar. So he's not going to get to Dohar, but he is taking away a position point from those other guys. But right now, like I said, Osborne's sitting 7th. He needs to maybe get past Berdusky and maybe Walton, get past both of them, and he'll secure himself in.
I think he's secured anyways right now. He was tied with Tanner or with Tyler B in points, so it's just who finishes where. I don't know if Tyler B has led a lap, so there's nothing he can gain there.
I thought he led one under caution.
Oh, maybe actually, but still, that's only 1 point. Tyler B sitting in 11th, Osborne in 7th, so he's got that covered right now. As long as Tyler B doesn't make up any ground. The problem with Tyler B is
He's 14 seconds back.
he's slow going into turn 3. Something has happened to Tyler B. Tyler B is all over the road, Kurt. Tyler B is going into the pits, Kurt, and
He
Tyler B has
spins.
looped it.
I don't know if that'll bring out a caution. It does not. Ooh, that was going to be close if that had brought out a caution.
I'm not sure what happened to Tyler B, but he was slow, Kurt. He was fighting with Tanner White. Tanner White was right behind him. Oh, he got loose off of turn 2 and smacked the wall. It wasn't too bad. But yeah, that's going to eliminate Tyler B, Kurt.
Yeah, he's now 1 lap down. I don't see him coming back from this, but we've seen crazier things happen in the last 10 laps. We've got 15 laps to go, Shad, so a little extra time on there. But if a caution does come out and he's able to get that thing fixed, he's currently the second car 1 lap down as Nathan Line just passed him and took over that Lucky Dog spot. So Tyler B is going to have to come down pit road, which is going to put him a few more spots as Ivan DeChamps just now passed him as well. Hunter Bailey's going to wind up passing him. That's going to put him the 4th car 1 lap down.
He's about to go a 2nd lap down now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's if he goes a 2nd lap down, that for sure puts him out of reach. I mean, 1 lap down, if a caution came out, he could stay out on track and get his lap back. But, 32 in the wall right next to the leader of Tyler Dohar. I think he was trying to stay out of the way of the leader and brushed it. So,
yeah, the crazy part for me is the fact that Jose Ruiz just now getting to the back of the 7 of Chris Murphy. I figured he would make up a little bit more ground than this. Not sure what happened there. But he is not making the ground up like I thought he was going to. He's still over 8 seconds back of your leader, Tyler Dohar. And when they made this cycle, he had about a 3.5 second lead over Dohar. Now, granted, Dohar did pit a few laps before him, but I just thought for sure.
Ruiz is not running the lap times I thought he would either. He's running a 33.825 right now, and the leader just ran a 33.789. So I would have thought of the fresher tires. Yeah, but 5 lap fresher tires, I would have thought he would have still been a few tenths in front of Dohar.
Well, it may end up here in the next, 5 laps to where he does start making up some serious time. But as it is right now, it's not looking to be in his favor to run his teammate down for this win. What's that?
He just ran 2 tenths faster that lap. That's not gonna.
Yeah,
that's not gonna propel him closer. He needs to run about a
12
second.
laps isn't gonna make it.
I mean, he is gaining. He's down to 7.5, closing in on 7. Gets to 7. Underneath 7, back up above 7, but I don't think he gets to Dohar. Dohar looks like he may be able to get his 5th win of the season, but I mean, Wesley Jeanette's still out there, so I don't think Dohar can rest that easy, even though Jeanette is currently in 4th position, which isn't close enough to get to Dohar, or if he slows down.
Ruiz run that time?
Ruiz ran a 33.6 and Dohar ran a 33.9, so 3 tenths.
Yeah, so 3 tenths just ain't
made
gonna
up half
cut
a
it over
second
11
in 2 laps. He's down to under 7 again. But we have 10 laps to go, Shad, so this thing is winding down. Our 2nd race of the playoffs. Last race before the championship. Only 4 drivers moving on to next week's race at Phoenix. Right now, it is looking like it is a top 4 sweep for Filter Time Esports moving on to the next round, and that is something that I did not think would actually happen. It's something I mentioned before the pre-race, or during the pre-race, that it was an outside shot, but I really didn't see it coming. I thought Tyler B., I thought Jason Blaney would both be heavy contenders for tonight's race, both having issues. Hunter Bailey was sitting there and looked like he was going to be a contender and had an issue with iRacing on pit road not giving him fuel, and he goes a lap down. So I didn't see this coming, and it's a complete shock to me. But if they sweep into the next playoff, Shad, we'll wind up having to bring all 4 of them up into the booth again, because right now it is a clean sweep from 1st to 3rd with the filter time guys in the race, and it would be a all-4 filter time going to the championship if John is able to sit there. But he is currently sitting 5th, so if he gets past Wesley, we could see a 1, 2, 3, 4 if he could get past Austin Walton too.
Yeah, it's just crazy that the team that, you know, has dominated the most part of the season could be sitting 1 through 4 going into the championship, to where they have to decide it amongst teammates of who wins the
At that
championship.
point, I would go into my own private chat. There's no teammates at that one.
Yeah, I'm watching Ruiz. He is getting it under 5 seconds on the straightaway, but I just don't think he's going to be able to catch him.
He ran 6.5 tenths faster that lap.
Now that would get it close if he could keep that pace up. That would get it extremely close. Obviously, Tyler Dohar's tires are really starting to fall off now, as Ruiz is still running pretty good lap times.
Ruiz is the fastest car on track.
Well, that's no surprise to me. He was, I think, the last car to pit.
No, Hunter Bailey was, but Hunter obviously had to come down a second time. But
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But Ruiz ran a 33.622. Tyler ran a 34.237. As Dohar goes through turns 3 and 4, we're coming to 5 to go, Shad. We'll check the lap times again whenever Dohar does cross the finish line here, out or going into turn 3 and 4. So it'll be just another second before we get another lap time. But if Ruiz is able to knock another half second or another 6 tenths off again, I mean, I don't know if he'll get to him and pass him, but he might be able to get close. Dohar crosses the finish line.
I think Ruiz just might have waited too long before finally pulling the trigger of go time. And it might cost him. I think he might be short of getting there by a lap or two.
So he was only 2 tenths faster that time.
Yeah, and this lap will be even slower as he's fighting with lap traffic.
Whew, I did not see this coming. So 4 laps to go as Tyler Dohar brings it through turns 1 and 2. He's going for his 5th win of the season. And I said, Shad, before or during the pre-race that, you know, Filter Time had not won the last 2 races. It had been a different driver from a different team both races. So I didn't think you were going to hold him out that long. 2 races is quite a lot for these guys, as they won 7 of 8. So, or 6 of 8, whatever it is. Yeah, 6 of 8. So I don't know. I didn't think you could hold them down that long. But I figured, well, if they don't win this race, one of them will probably win next week if they make it. But whoa, 34 in the wall right in front of the leader, moves out of the way, goes down to the apron. Very, very respectful move there by the 34. 77 goes right around him on the outside, taking into 3 and 4. We're coming to 2 to go, Shad. White flag will be out next time by. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see it.
Yeah, Dohar right now, all he's got to do is make sure he does not loop it himself and nobody in front of him wrecks it. He definitely does not want to see that yellow flag, as that would definitely shake things up, as we don't know if anyone has any tires left. But yeah, Dohar right now going off into turn 3. Going to be coming out of 4 to see that white flag.
White flag is going to be in the air as Tyler Dohar comes through the front stretch one more time. 1 lap to go now at Homestead for Velocity Motorsports, brought to you by KS Gaming 51, Swats, and Shadilak in the booth. Shad, this has been a crazy second race of the playoff. 1 race left. I don't know who to pick out of the 4 if we go into Phoenix. Dohar's been saying the whole time before we got to the playoffs that all he's trying to do is get to Phoenix. Once he gets to Phoenix, then he can turn it on. I believe he turned it on for this race because he said he wasn't going to be maybe somebody that was going to be out front running the whole time, and here he is coming to the checker flag.
Yeah, Dohar comes off of turn 4, gets to see that checker flag first. He is going to come home with the win, but Jose Ruiz fell a few laps short of running back, hit down his teammate. He's going to bring it home P2. Now here's the story 7 of Chris Murphy coming off of turn 4. He will come home 3rd and going to the championship. Then you got the 81 of John Osborne right behind him. He's going to be the 4th car in, which means, Kurt, all 4 filter time guys are going to be fighting for this championship trophy next week at Phoenix. And like you said, I don't know who to pick, but I do know Dohar did say if he made it to Phoenix, watch out.
Yeah, next week's going to be a crazy race. We thought this one was crazy. Next week's going to be crazy because now you're going to have a lot more drivers that may have a bone to pick with these drivers that have made it to the Final Four. And I don't know if I want to be any one of those Final Four guys trying to make it. So we will go to that victory burnout, going to be done by the 77 of the Elite Performance Industries right now. Tyler Dohar clinching another win. We will be right back. All right, we are back here for KS Gaming 51 Broadcasting, bringing you the Velocity Motorsports Playoff Race number 2. Top 3 are going to be in the booth. We'll be interviewing them here shortly. Shad, this race was very, very entertaining, is the word I will use. But number 1 will be the 77 Filter Time Esports driver playoff leader in points, clinching his 5th win of the season. No better time than the clinching race to get to the championship for Tyler Dohar coming up into the booth as the winner in that 77. Tyler, you said at the pre-race that you were not going to try to, go all out at the beginning. You were going to maybe try to get up there and lead a lap, and then maybe kind of drop back and kind of just watch how things unfold. You went out, took the lead for a little while there until we had a couple strings of cautions there. The race was eventful for you, to say the least. You can go into that a little bit if you'd like. But at the end of it, how did you bring it home?
I mean, I don't know. I think it was just another day at the races. But at the beginning, I really wanted to try to get a lap lead and accomplish that. Just wanted to have the extra bonus point just in case. You never know. Something could easily happen to us where we needed it. So I just wanted that extra point just in case. Went out there and I was feeling really strong. I mean, that first about 15 or so laps, I felt I was doing really good. I was pacing myself. I was watching, like the 22 and the 74 just really gain on me on entry, but I could stay even with them in the center and then on exit. And I started putting a healthy gap on, so I was feeling really comfortable. And then that caution came out in that magic spot where, you could make it on one more stop from there if you save. So decided to come in there, and that's when pit strategy just started to shake up a little bit for everybody. Some guys took tires there, some guys didn't. And so we were kind of in one of those, back and forth yi and haw strategy moves where some guys would pit, and then the next caution, some other guys would pit and take tires. Most of the time we just took fuel only and just strapped one set of tires on when we had that caution about the quarter way mark, because I told the guys, I think, okay, if you haven't taken tires now, take them now just in case. But when you're on strategies like that, it's hard to keep pace of what everybody's doing and where everybody's at on tires and trying to get back into a healthy rhythm and running. And then towards the middle there, I mean, we were racing with the 23. We were racing with, a lot of guys like the 21, the 3. A lot of those guys were up there. They made good strategy calls for themselves. And it was just racing with the 74. And, I was getting runs on him, and he's not in the playoffs. So I'm thinking, okay, he'll cut me a break if I show the nose. Like, I ran him down from a half a second within 2 laps. And he kept driving out the mirror instead of the windshield. And so going into 3 that one time, he kept chasing me lower and lower. And well, the last time I got chased around the track, I ended up in the wall. So, I'm standing my ground. I'm not going to let guys push me over like that. Respect to him and what he's accomplished. But, he showed up to 2 races now on the oval side. I don't really know how he races over here. It just seemed like he was more racing for his teammate than racing for himself. So, that took matters into my own hands. He saved his car. Nothing happened. Later in the race, I let him by. We're good. It's water under the bridge. I'm not going to let it carry over anymore. So I just wanted him to know that, if you drive me like that, that's how I'm going to race you. I don't appreciate that. But all in all, I mean, we executed the strategy really well. We had the extra set lane in the pits in case of a late caution. So we tried to split that final run in half. Jose didn't have that luxury because he took tires earlier on. So he was trying to kind of extend it to a point where, if he got a late race caution, he wasn't going to get the doors blown off of him by everybody. But it's awesome that all 4 of us are going to make the Champ 4. It stinks that a lot of the top competitors had bad issues. Blaney got caught up in a couple wrecks. Tyler B got caught up. I think he got off sequence on tires from what he intended. He ended up doing what we did, but I don't think that was his intention to do what we did in particular. So he had that extra set, and I think he got loose off 4 and had to call it an early day. And then Hunter Bailey was looking really good there too, and then he didn't end up putting fuel in on his final stop, so he had to come back in. And so that really helped, a guy like Osborne, who was sitting tied with a lot of those guys and down 3 to like Blaney and Bielinger, to be able to make up that gap and get there. And Murph ran pretty much a flawless race, a little hiccup in the middle there with racing some guys, but all in all, I can't ask for a better day. But, I tried to just focus on what I could do, and glad we could come out with another victory.
Well, Dohor, like you said, water under the bridge. Hopefully, it does not carry over in the next week's championship race. So I will just go right to that race. We had spoke to you before. You said, if you do end up being one of those guys in that final four, to watch out for you at Phoenix. So now you got to go against, three other teammates of yours. How confident are you feeling now that you go to that championship race at Phoenix, and the guys you're fighting for are all three your teammates? And how confident are you going into that race now?
I'm feeling really, really good about it because of how strong we were when Turn Down for What in the Cup Series was there. I mean, we led the majority of the laps. I felt like on the long run we were just dominating, and I've got some good short run pace to go with it. So I feel really confident, but I know these guys are going to work really hard and try to catch up to us. So I got to keep, the onus is on me to keep that level of excellence up and continue, striving on my craft and continuing to learn how to pace myself better on runs and save tires. So I'm feeling really confident. I would be honestly disappointed if we didn't come out at least, battling for the championship coming out of, turn 4 on the last lap. Anything goes on that standpoint. So if something happens, between us, it's not going to be hard feelings there. I want these guys to race me as if I wasn't a teammate, just race me with respect, but race hard, because I don't want anybody to ever say that we didn't race each other hard. We kind of just lollygagged around. But I'm excited for it, to be honest with you, Chad. I can't wait. I'm glad, because now we finally got some momentum back. After Dega, we got second last week when I feel like we really had the opportunity to get a win. And we got the win here when I feel like we had the car to beat. So, I'm really hoping that momentum carries over into Phoenix.
Well, Dohar, I mean, you've been kind of, I don't know what the word would be. I don't know if it would be mentor or team captain or whatever you want to call it, but you have been kind of, giving pointers, giving fuel strategies, giving calls, making things during the race for the teammates to try to, be on the same strategies, or, help or informational type stuff that you want to pass along. When it comes to the four of you being in that championship four, does that stop, or do you still help those guys at all, since it's those guys that you are battling for this championship? I mean, do you go to your own chat? Do all four of you split up and go to your own, chats to make this thing as equal as possible, where all four of you are just going to go for it? Or do you stay in the same chat and talk to each other and help each other and let each other know what you're doing?
I think we're going to just maintain status quo, to be honest with you. If those guys want my help, I will gladly offer it, because it's, at the end of the day, you want everybody to be as good as they can be in these league races, especially for a growing and a developing league like Velocity. And that's an open door policy for me to anybody, and not just to these three guys. If anybody ever, wants to just sit down and ask, I've talked to guys like Pardusky before. Bielinger and I have had great conversations about it. After Auto Club, I talked to Blaney for a while about stuff, so I'm an open book with these guys. There's no secrets. I want everybody to succeed, and I want everybody to bring their best, because at the end of the day, that's what gives us all pride in what we do. So I want everybody to feel like they're going out there and doing their best, and if they need help, to not be ashamed to ask for it, because we're all learning. The next gen cars are still new to a lot of people. I've raced them a little bit more than probably most of the guys in this series. But I want to see everybody, do their best, succeed, and be able to race, competitively to their own abilities. So I think we'll stay in the same chat. We'll chat it out if they want, but, we might keep a thing or two in our back pocket if we need to.
Well, you got a big congratulations from me. I'm sure Shad feels the same way, but there is somebody out there in the chat giving a big congratulations, and that is the one and only repeat 1975 year broadcaster for Shake and Bake, with Frozen Toes. He's out there saying congratulations. Frozen dropped us a 17-person raid earlier in the broadcast, so Shake and Bake out here watching you and Jose. And I'm not sure if Chris races in Shake and Bake or not as well, but I know you and Jose do. So you got some people out there rooting you guys on from that league. Definitely love to see it. Glad to see, different leagues rooting for the drivers that are in their league, in other racing leagues. So, but any big shout outs for you and things like that? I know you got that long list.
I mean, shout out to John Osborne, because he also races in Shake and Bake, and John did it last season. So I don't think Murph got signed up in time, but I know a couple guys from Turn Down for What are also coming over there. So it's awesome to see the camaraderie between the Xbox leagues that have kind of migrated over here. But I'll make mine quick. Shout out to these guys. This team is a fabulous 3 guys to work with. I wouldn't want to work with anybody else. I don't think this in depth and this intimate when it comes to this kind of racing. These guys just they're willing to listen. They're willing to ask and make suggestions, and it's open door policy here. So proud of those guys for executing. Even Murph, when he misses pit road or forgets to take tires or speeds, he's still willing to learn. Shout out to Filter Time, of course, Blake Cook, and then shout out to Elite Performance Industries, Michael Conti. I finally got back into racing officials the last 3 weeks. Gained 500 iRating. Those setups are awesome for Michael Conti. If anybody ever wants to get into open set racing and really learn how to hone these cars, Elite Performance Industries is the way to go. Also got, of course, all asphalt cars, and as well as dirt cars and road cars. So if you guys need setups and want to get into that world where you can get some coaching, get some development time along with the setups and how to kind of tweak them to your own style, Elite Performance Industries, don't look any further, guys. But and shout out to both of you for your sacrifice and time, giving us a spot on the TV screen for however long. You guys make the sacrifice with us for the dozen or so races that we do. So appreciate you guys. And then to Tyler B and Tyler Tyon. I know it was a little struggle because of at times, Tyon's trying to do stuff. He's trying to also relay to you guys in the broadcast, so that way we give the audience time in there. And so Tyler B's trying to help race and be an admin, which is very difficult. So shout out to him, because I know how awkward that can be when you're trying to race really hard, but you're also trying to clear a black flag or two. So, shout out to those guys for really keeping it professional and putting this on for all of us to enjoy and hone our talents.
Well, definitely excited about all that for next week. Actually, finally, Elite Performances followed me on Facebook with the KS Gaming Broadcasting channel that I got on Facebook, where they can watch over there. So I think they realized that after about 7 posts of a member or multiple members of the Elite Performance esports team winning or taking the top 3, they decided to come follow. So hopefully they enjoy seeing the posts and things like that of you guys in there. But it's going to be a wild one next week.
Nudge to help with that, because I definitely showed him that you've been running the ad. So I'm glad to see that paid off.
Yeah. But yeah, going to be a wild one next week. We are definitely excited to see it. But Tyler, congratulations again, and good luck next week with that championship drive.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Chad, let's bring up that well-known driver that you and I both know, Jose Ruiz in the 23, bringing it home second tonight. Jose, you had a very, very fast car. You led a lot of laps. You led all the way through the next green flag stops. You came out. Looked like it was about 8 or 9 seconds back. You started to dwindle it down a little bit. You got to within, I think, 3 seconds or 3.5 seconds at some points on track. What was it that maybe stalled you or slowed you down to getting to Tyler? Because Shad and I were sitting here and we were thinking like you had plenty of time, you had the fresh tires, you were going to be able to get to Tyler, but I don't know if you'd have been able to pass him, but you'd have been able to get to him. Was there something on track, or did you maybe strategically plan on starting off a little slower on that last run to conserve tire to have it to get to Tyler and pass him?
It was a combination of different things. Entering pit road there, I kind of gingerly got on the apron there, almost spun. So because the banking there is just completely insane from the track to the apron. So almost lost it there. Then kind of gingerly got off pit road. So I don't want to spin out on the grass, and then just take myself out completely. But at the beginning of that run, I was pretty much saving tire there. I wasn't trying to. I was down. I used up my last set there on that last green flag pit stop because I had to use one earlier. I used my fast repair earlier in the race, so that kind of just made the decision of me having to save it. And then at the end there, with probably about, I'd say, 15 laps left, I decided to go for it. And I saw I was catching Tyler there at the, but I feel like I burned up my stuff trying to catch him. So I don't know. I don't know what I could have done differently. Maybe pit earlier, but like I said, I wanted to pit with Tyler there when he pit with, I think, coming to 30 to go, but being down in my last set, I kind of had to sit out there and kind of wait to come down pit road.
Shad, any questions for the 23 of Jose Ruiz?
Yeah, so Jose, you were out front there. You had about, I don't know, 3.5 second lead over your teammate Tyler. He comes down pit road, I think 3 to 5 laps earlier than you do. You stay out. Then you come down and you come out of the pits and you're about 7.5 seconds behind him. Did you maybe either come down too late, or were you trying to save the tires and then try to finally hit the gas and try to run him down, or did you just make that move too late?
Yeah, I made that move too late. I wanted to come down a little bit, like I said, a couple laps earlier, but getting wrecked there during the middle of the race, like I said, that kind of made my decision on what I had to do. It kind of forced my hand there, having to pit and take that fast repair. But other than that, I don't know what else I could have done there. I feel like if I tried going full throttle at the beginning of that run, I probably would have lost everything a lot sooner in the run. So, I mean, who knows what would have happened there? Maybe if I came down earlier, I probably would have caught Tyler, but it's hard to say. It's easy to speculate, but it's, I don't know, hard to say right now.
Next week.
Go ahead.
So yeah, next week, Jose, as you're going to be also one of those drivers joining Tyler in the championship 4, going to Phoenix, a track to where, turns 3 and 4, which used to be 1 and 2, you really got to hit your marks to set you up through that kink on the front stretch. How confident are you going into that track, knowing that Tyler's pretty much saying that he's really good there? And then also, you got to fight, your 3 other teammates as well.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to see our whole team in the Final Four. As far as Phoenix goes, I felt like I was really good there a year ago in SMB. Obviously, there's updates and different things within this past year. Turned out for what? I felt I was really good there until we're very early in the race. I spun out on that dog leg and saved it the first time. And then feel like maybe another 10 laps later, I hit the dog leg again and spun out. That was one of those things where I wish I didn't feel like the car would get loose on me, so I couldn't really get a good grasp on that track in turn down for what. So I'm definitely gonna have to run the practice race that we normally have on Mondays and hop on earlier and run some practice laps. But I feel like Phoenix is pretty good. If I can keep the car under me in the dog leg, should be fine.
Well, Jose, I just want to ask too, out your windshield or out your window, what did you see happening there with the incident that you were involved in? You had a car up on your roof at one point during that incident.
Yeah, that I felt like I kept my line. I'll admit I did pinch the 22 there a little bit, but I still felt like I didn't move down at all. But I kept my line, so I saw him get tight earlier before he even caught me. But I mean, the way I run that Homestead, I run really low, and then I keep my exit really low. So when I'm coming off the turn, I'm more straight, so there's no chance of me getting loose. That seems to help a lot, but I feel like that was a combination of me pinching down the 22, but also running how I normally run the exits off on this track. So I don't know. That sucks that we came together and we both wrecked. I know Blaney there took his fast repair a lot earlier from a different wreck, and it sucks that we both kind of got taken out in there, and he had no fast repair to use there. So it would have been awesome to see if we were able to battle there without any trouble. But yeah, it sucks. But
Well, any
I'll
any
go
shout outs for
sometime.
you as well, Jose?
Shout out to this whole team, our admin team for Velocity, Tyler B, Tyler T. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting this race. I'm gonna go back and definitely watch it. What else? Shout out to my fiance again for letting me do this. I come home after I get off at 4 or my time 4 o'clock, and I'm in the living room for maybe like 10 minutes, and then I go into my room where the PC is, and I'm in here for another 2 hours. So shout out to her for letting me do this and not getting mad or annoyed with me.
I think we all know how that is. So,
Yeah.
but congratulations again on the second place. Congratulations on moving on to the Final Four.
Thanks. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I
Battling
think
my
this is
teammates
like
there
the
next week.
third Final Four I've seen you in the last 4 or 5 seasons in different leagues. You should have had another one, in my opinion, but we won't go there with that one. But I know you were in
I
the shake
agree.
and bake
Yeah,
one.
I should have one more, but oh well.
But yeah, we'll go to third place finisher, first time in the booth, Austin Walton in the 9. Austin, congratulations on making it to the top 3. I mean, second to last race of the season. You show up here. You've had a lot of speed. We've said it in the broadcast that you are one of the faster cars on track. You got to figure out the saving part. And it looks like Tyler Dohar said during the break, you were able to figure that out tonight. You move into third. You pass Chris Murphy there and move on. Congratulations on the top 3. Give us a little rundown on how your race went. We didn't see you in the top 5 very much until the end. So kind of give us a rundown here.
First off, thanks for having me up here. As far as the race went, it started off okay, and then went downhill pretty fast when I got turned down the backstretch. And then from there on, I just had multiple pit stops to get the damage fixed, and then the car just came to life and took off and would hold the bottom, which is where all the speed was, and I was able to start passing cars as the race came down to an end.
Well, Shad, you've
Well,
been talking
Austin,
about those 9. Give him some questions here.
yeah, I've seen you, through the races during the regular season. You were pretty fast. Just either didn't get the strategy right or burned off your stuff. Finally, we get a chance to talk to you as you finally get your first podium of the season. Something to build onto for next season, especially at a track like Homestead, where it's all about saving tires and being smooth on that gas pedal, as you can't be full throttle coming off turns, or you're going to find yourself looking towards the inside wall. How much of a momentum builder is this for you for next season, and then also next week? How you feeling about going to a tricky place like Phoenix?
It definitely builds a lot of momentum, especially when you get a good race in a series like this where everybody is pretty competitive. As I'm sure as you probably know, is you get one race down and then you're kind of like in a slump, and as soon as you can break out of it, everything just goes back to being good and getting better.
Well, Austin, I love the black kind of midnight paint scheme you got going on there for Chase Elliott. Not a big Chase Elliott for fan myself, but definitely like the paint schemes. Going to Phoenix, I mean, do you have some strategy or thoughts on how you're going to be able to run at Phoenix? Like I said, you've been one of the faster cars with these 8 guys that were battling, or 7 other guys that were battling tonight for the playoffs. You don't make it into the championship race, but you can always go out there and steal the win from one of these championship drivers, make it harder on them, or take a position away for a position point for them to be able to get the championship. All of that stuff matters. You're also battling for the payout spots, as you're now going to be battling for 5th through 8th, or 5th through 9th, or 5th through 8th, I think, for the payout points or for the money. So the race matters to you. It's going to be a race that I think you got to go out here and do whatever you can to either make more money in the payout or, like I said, steal something from one of these guys who have been winning all these races.
Yeah, it's definitely a track I'll have to get a practice racer into. I've never ran there at all on iRacing. Um, But from watching others, I think it's something I could probably get down and hopefully hit all my marks and hopefully come out and maybe it'll spoil this race for everybody else.
Well, Austin, I don't want to make yours short here, so I'm gonna give you a kind of a freedom here to kind of break down your season and let us know how you felt about this whole season with Velocity and any expectations going into next season.
The season's been a pretty good season, I believe. Like you all have noticed, I've made quite a few mistakes, whether it's saving tires or wrong pit strategy or whatnot, and it's cost me quite a bit of good finishing positions. Um, I hope as long as I can improve on that, I think next season I can come out and do a whole lot better and maybe even contend, in the playoffs.
Well, any shout outs for you? Anybody you want to thank? Sponsors, friends, family, anybody like that?
I would like to thank Brandon Watkins. He's here in the league. He's actually helped me out a lot with iRacing since I joined here probably 7, 8 months ago. He showed me around, showed me how to do things, and has constantly made me a better driver each and every time we race together.
All right, well, that's going to be our third place finisher, Austin Walton, in the 9 Hooters paint scheme. Congratulations on the top 3 finish, first podium of the season. Hopefully, won't be your last. Maybe you'll come out next week and still win from one of these guys or get another podium finish. So, congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you. You all have a good night.
All right, Chad, we are going to wrap up this playoff race number 2. We've got one race left to decide the champion. It's going to be between 4 teammates going at it. I'm hopeful that it'll be entertaining as tonight was, but we've heard from Jose, we've heard from Tyler. I'm sure Chris and John have the same opinion. It's every man for himself. And they will try to do everything they can to win that championship. Nobody's going to give it to the other guy, especially since this race means more than anything throughout the season. It's not a win type race. It's a championship. So, and payouts matter. So guys are going to want to finish in that first through fourth and try to get that extra money given to them out of the payout. So I don't know what your expectations are for next week, but I have a feeling if tonight's was fireworks, I have a feeling next week we could see even more fireworks. And we have just as many guys behind the top 4 that are going to be battling for those position points, the win, and the payout spots, and guys who are not even in the playoffs who can contend for the win or contend for those position points. It's going to get even more crazier, I think, next week.
Yeah, Phoenix is no easy task. I mean, I know, it's just barely over a mile track. But you got 2 different ends of the racetrack, turns 3 and 4, which used to be 1 and 2. Has a ton more banking. You got the dog leg, which can always be tricky when you go down there, especially on older tires, with the car slamming down from going from the banking to the flat. And then turns 1 and 2 are extremely flat to where a lot of times we see guys clear down below the yellow line on the apron in real life, or some guys, if iRacing was able to put down that sticky stuff, we could see guys up towards the wall with the PJ1. But I'm excited for it. It's crazy to think that 4 teammates are going to be battling for it. How willing are they to want that championship? We heard in real life Tony Stewart saying about how he'd wreck his mother or wreck his grandmother to win. And I know these guys definitely don't want to take each other out for the win, but I think if it comes down to it and you got a lap or 2 left and you're behind your teammate and he's the championship spot, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them give the bumper to the other and trying to move them up, as I think just about anybody would do that at this point to win a championship. Not wreck them, but at least just move them out of the way. And hopefully nothing from tonight carries over to next week. I definitely don't want to see any of the championship drivers get taken out by something carrying over as little as a bump or, something from tonight. So hopefully it's clean and green and we can find out which one of these 4 teammates is the top dog. Yeah, Tyler Dohar's won 5 races, but you know what? If you win 5 races and don't win the championship, it doesn't really matter how many races you won. And Osborne's sitting there as a guy in this Final Four that hasn't won a race that could easily go out there and not even have to win it, just be the first car out of the four and win the championship without even winning a race. So
It's
it's
been
happened
done
before.
before.
Matt Kenseth did it.
It happened,
Um,
2 seasons ago or last season in the Xfinity Series? What was that, the 11?
Hamrick
Or Hemrick, yeah.
Yeah.
Hemrick did it without winning
Yeah.
the race. Well, no, did he win the final race in Phoenix?
until the finale.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
he
say.
And that
won,
was
so-
his first career win.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
He won Phoenix. So
I mean, I was just sitting here thinking Osborne's sitting in fourth in the championship. He's going into this race with no win, no top two. Could it be the night that John gets his first win of the season? Dohar and Ruiz and Murphy have all said throughout the season they'd like to see Osborne get that win. I don't think they want to see him get the win next week, but could that be the win that maybe puts Osborne on top with the trophy, with the championship? It's it could be a wild one. I definitely agree. We've seen these four teammates run super clean, give each other, plenty of space. They've given other drivers plenty of space too. But next week, it's the finale of do and die. There is no tomorrow after next week's race for sure because the season will be over. So I don't know. Make sure you tune in next week for the fireworks because I have a feeling it's going to be a good one coming from the hot, dusty desert of Arizona, and we'll tune in for that. But Shad, appreciate you coming to the booth. Appreciate the top three coming up here. Appreciate Tyler P. and Tyler Talent, as always, as the admin owners for bringing us in here to do this. It's been an awesome season. Got one race left, and it's going to be a good one, I think, to decide the championship. And then, like I said in pre-race, I didn't think it was going to be possible, but there was a outside shot that we'd have four teammates making it to the finale. I don't want to call it a prophecy, but I think I called that one ahead of time. So 4 drivers, 4 teammates, all going for a championship. 3 have wins, 1 does not. Who will come out on top, we'll find out next week, next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch or on Facebook, YouTube, and iRock TV on Roku channel. You can catch me Thursday for repeat 1975's broadcast. I think we go live at 9 o'clock, and then catch me back on Monday for AER's race at North Wilkesboro, their 9th race of the season, coming down to the playoffs here soon. And then that championship race on Tuesday is going to be exciting. So stay tuned for all these races this week and next week. Appreciate everybody out there in the chat and viewers. And really appreciate Frozen for that 17-person raid. Definitely appreciate that. It's cool to see other broadcasters doing that for other broadcasters like myself. So it was really cool to see that. But we'll catch you guys next time.